What's up, internet? In a previous video, I showed you I picked up this Suzuki DS80 for $99. Now, I wasn't even planning to go buy this thing. I was actually at the dude's house to buy this Honda CRF70. And this was sitting in the yard. We went back and forth. And all I had on me was literally $99. So that's what I got on this thing so far. In the previous video, we took the top end off. The rings look pretty worn. We put it back together and it still didn't start. Now, the kickstart here is broken. So I was trying to start it with a drill. But anyways, I've ordered some parts and here's what has come in. So we got some OEM Suzuki rings, a new head gasket, base gasket, and clutch cover gasket. These were actually pretty cheap. Suzuki parts are pretty expensive usually, but in this case, I don't think I spent but $60 on these right here. Now they still do make the OEM kickstart gear or whatever, but this was like 30 versus 60, and the Suzuki ones break, obviously. So they must break enough for China to friggin' make a reproduction. And then I got this universal Kickstarter. I'll put a link in the description for all this stuff. As far as it'll be for these pieces, you know, this is OEM stuff from Rocky Mountain, and I had to buy something to get free shipping on my Tusk order, or my Rocky Mountain order rather. So I got these gasket scrapers, so hopefully those will help us on the clutch cover. So anyways, we need to get the top end back off, install these rings, install our fresh gaskets, and see if we can get this thing to fire up. Now, I don't know if I showed it at all previously in the previous video, but this is our oil injection, because this is a two-stroke engine. So you do have to have mixed gas, but you can put straight gas in it as long as this pump is working, which these pumps typically usually go out, just various across any machine. You know, these aren't really the most reliable, but I would be interested in keeping this thing as like a little pit bike. And I currently have my XR70 as a little pit bike, but this one's got a headlight and it's got a clutch and it's two-stroke. So it should rip pretty fast. So we'll see where this takes us. I did forget to order a new front sprocket, but if we can get this thing to run, hopefully you won't even notice, because I'll just overnight one. And if we can get this thing running, then I guess you'll see. I guess you'll see in this video if we're popping wheelies or whatever. So I didn't even go through the carburetor, but the slide does go up. So that's a good sign. Also, it is the stock Mikuni. But we do need to get the top end off here and see if we can get those rings fitted up. All right, our cylinder's off. This base gasket off. It's always nice to have good, fresh gaskets, but usually on machines like this that, you know, you're not trying to dump a bunch of money in, you always try to save the gaskets or just use what gasket's there and then, you know, put some goop on it, some gasket maker. Also, it's important to note, you can see that little notch right there, and there's one right there on the top ring. That is where the piston ring gap goes. It's not like a four-stroke where it can just go any which way. It has specific little notches in there that have to line up. So the T is going to face the top. Come on. The top ring. Okay, there's that. Put our fresh OEM base gasket on. Okay, now we can put the cylinder on, but we just need to make sure that those rings are oriented correctly. Okay, that's going on. Perfect. Now, I didn't use a bunch of lube because it's a pain in the ass getting everything on, so I'm going to put this lube spray in. Yeah, just like that. Just make sure everything, oh yeah, that's working good. Now, previously I used this copper spray on the old head gasket, so we're going to get all that off. I did resurface this top of the cylinder with my resurfacing stone in the last video. I'll put a link in the description. Basically, it's just a perfectly flat stone, and you put a piece of sandpaper on it and just drag it back and forth. And that makes sure this top cylinder surface is 100% flat. And I did the same thing with the head. All right, that looks nice and clean. Here comes our new OEM gasket, head gasket, which I said bolts, but I meant nuts. Kind of like me, I'm nuts. All right, we're just gonna sink them down, and then we'll torque them. Ah, this one needs a damn extension. All right, I got the head bolts torqued back down. Looks like I do need to put these little 10 millimeters back on. And then once I do that, there is some electrical to hook back up, such as the coil, which, you know, the electrical is pretty minimal on this thing. All right, so I think I got everything hooked up. Let's see, I hope I don't have this thing in gear. Let's see, say a prayer if this thing doesn't have compression. I'm gonna be mad. Oh, hold on. We gotta get this thing on. All right, let's see. How's this thing only got 35 PSI? All right, so y'all can roast me if this is completely the wrong way to do this, which it probably is. But we're gonna put this breaker bar on here, make sure we hold the breaker bar, which I guess we need to know if it's at top dead center. Well, we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do this and slowly turn it over. There's some coming out of the a little bit out of the intake, a little bit out of the exhaust. That's crazy. that thing is leaking ever so slightly out of there. And ever so, nothing out of the intake. A little bit out of the intake now. I don't know. We put new rings in it. I'm gonna hook up the ignition back up and spray some brake cleaner in it and see what happens. I think this thing might run. I don't know. I don't really, doesn't make sense to me. All right, so I don't know if this is gonna work here. I'm not sure if we even need the exhaust. We could need the exhaust for back pressure. But there's a little bit of go-go juice. I got the spark plug hooked up. Let's see. Okay, it started. Woo! That was awesome! All right, so I guess we need to clean the carburetor and get everything else back together. And we also need to put the kickstart stuff on. But most importantly, let's do the carburetor next. I tell you what, I am so pumped that this thing started. This carburetor, so far, doesn't look that bad, but right, the outside is not really what matters. So let's hope we don't need any crazy rebuild kit. That's not what I want to deal with today. Dude, this thing ran. That is insane. Let's see. Oh, just fucking hit myself. Oh my, holy shit. That is, oh my God. Oh, I'm so glad I got that on camera. This is probably the worst carburetor I've ever seen. I wonder if we can put the freaking CRF70 carburetor on here and just get it running. All right, the ultrasonic cleaning campaign has been halted. The pilot jet in here is broken off or it's stripped out, which it sucks because this carburetor looks so good on the outside. But the big problem is this right here. There's a hole in the bowl, several holes in the bowls. So China to the rescue. We got a China carburetor on the way, $65. A little steep for China, but it'll be here tomorrow. So, oh my gosh, this thing just, I even thought about if I could just clean this up and then JB weld epoxy these holes. But you're going to be cleaning this carburetor every 5 minutes. So, in the meantime, we can work on the Kickstarter. All right, I got all the parts ordered now. These are JIS, probably. And we're gonna use my little hammer impact here to get these Phillips head screws out. Now I'm using a number 2, so wish me luck. It's not looking good. All right, that one's good. All right, that one's out. All right, we're doing pretty good here so far. Looking good, looking good. Oh, we're leaking oil. Man, I can't believe that carburetor was that bad. All right, here we go. All right, so they all came loose. I do have to take this 10mm off to get that clutch arm off. Where's the 10mm? Oh my God. Where did it go? It has to be right here. Okay, 10mm retrieved after about 30 seconds of searching. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, now we can get into this last Phillips head. Son of a gun right there. Oh, come on, don't be the little stupid bitch. There we go. All right. We successfully got all the clutch cover bolts off. You know, these are sacrilegious right here. It's an abomination. They should whoever did this, straight to jail. Jail. Damn. The one time I have a freaking new gasket, the gasket did not rip. Alright, so our clutch plates are in here. I guess technically you could probably take them out and check them out. Here's our culprit right here. Looks like there's a washer. Alright, let's see what happens here. I don't even know how you get this thing out. It is spring loaded. Don't tell me the engine's got to come apart, because that would not be cool. I don't like that if that's the case. No! That would suck balls. Okay, so here's our new gear. So this is where the kickstart shaft, kickstarter goes. And this is where it goes into the engine. And I don't see any like, I see this right here, one keyway. But I don't see any like circlips or anything. So I wonder if I think oil might just have us, like the vacuum of the oil. The oil makes the tolerance so tight, it's airtight. So I wonder if we get in here with a flathead. Let me look this up on the internet before I break something. Okay, so last night I found out that basically you have to take the complete engine apart to replace this kickstart gear, kickstart shaft gear, which this engine's not that complicated, so I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. But we got to get to it nonetheless. There's a front bolt right here, one back here, and is that it? I think that might be. Oh wait, no. There's just one right here that goes to the frame. It's pretty interesting. So the carburetor should be here today if it hasn't showed up already. And basically, I got to tear this whole engine back apart and further. Like I have to split the cases. Luckily, I have a flywheel puller for this thing, so I'm just gonna put it on a time lapse, and we're gonna get this out.
Snagging a Suzuki 98 DS, 99 bucks, thought it scored the best. Rings were toast, so I swapped them out. Drill got a burn, but the kick's in doubt. Oh, DS80, you're a pain, you're a fight. Breaking my back in the shop every night. From a broke down Heap to a YouTube star, 99 buck bike gonna take you far. Kickstart shaft, yeah, it snapped
Okay, it just popped. I think we got it now. I was just wiggling it back and forth. All right, so here's our crankcase. Have to get this all cleaned up. I didn't hear any, did not hear any, oh, what is this? What is this piece of metal? Oh, this is for the crank bearing. Oh my gosh, this little piece right here is for the crank bearing. Look at this. It's for the cage on that one ball right there. You see it? Right there? But guess what? We ain't screwing with it. I know that sounds terrible, but bearing's tight. And we ain't buying any more parts. Looks like this is our kickstart gear right here. We got this plastic gear that is what drives the oil pump. And then this is the damnedest gear ever. Kickstart gear, shaft, whatever you want to call it. Now, this looks pretty sketchy. Maybe we just, oh wait, here, this comes out. So that piece came out. Now this looks like it's under lots of tension. Ah! I don't like this. Okay, not that much tension. But then how the hell? Okay, there we go. All right, that wasn't that bad. Splitting the cases was a bitch though on this thing. Come on. All this and you want to give me a fight on the spring? Okay, there's that. Let's pull this stupid broken gear off. Of course, now the gear is, there we go. There's the culprit. There is the culprit. Let's go find our new one. Here is our new shaft. Let's hope it fits. If I would have known that we were going to have to get this far in, I definitely would have bought the OEM. And I'm also even seeing now that there's no hole drilled in this one. What the hell? So, I guess let's just see if it freaking goes in there to begin with. And it doesn't. Maybe it does. It's a little tight. Tighter than I'd like it to be. Alright, it does go in. That's the good news. Bad news is it does not have the hole drilled, which hopefully this isn't too hard. Okay, next big problem. Checking all the clearances. This gear, or this is supposed to idle right here on the end of this thing. And this one is super tight, but I'm gonna try and just run this in the drill and then with a file, just take a little bit off. Okay, it didn't take much. I just used my file and then some 240 sandpaper. This thing fits on there perfectly now. I was getting a little nervous. Still have to drill that hole. Okay, I drilled out the hole here. Now it is a little bit off from, you know, the other one, but let's see what we can do as far as getting her in here. gonna be just fine right here. Yeah, this is gonna be just fine. Get that right there. And then put this guy right here. Actually, you might have to put that on first. I think we do. Yeah. Slide this little spacer spring guy. And then, yeah, there we go. And then this gear was like an idle gear. It fits on there correctly now. So let's just make sure. Oh, I think I even got to clock this a certain way. Yeah, this has got to get clocked a certain way. So, gotta figure that out. So it looks like if I can slide this back out just a little bit. I guess the spring's kind of holding it in place there. Because it looks like I can pull it out and then get this on this side of the case right there. That would make it easier. Of course, my life right now is not easier. So how would I expect it to get easier now? Okay, so... yeah, so this, we got to make sure kickstart shaft gear. We got to make sure the kickstart shaft gear, this piece right here, is on this side. And looks like the spring is kind of interfering with that, going down at all. Why is this happening to me? Yeah, you don't want to do that right there. Now, wait, this spring just fell back out. Just put this, I said spring. Alright, so you put this spacer back in. And then now we can crank up this spring. It goes on that post right there. Just like that. And now we should have a returning kickstart shaft gear. Yep, just like that. Yep. Okay, this fell out again. So now all we gotta do is put the cases back together. Yay! The easiest part.
Snagging a Suzuki 98 DS, 99 bucks, thought I'd scored the best. Rings were toast, so I swapped them out. Drill got a burn, but the kick's in doubt. Oh, DS80, you're a pain, you're a fight. Breaking my back in the shop every night. From a broke down Heap to a YouTube star, 99 buck bike gonna take you far. Kickstart shaft gets snapped in two.
stupid gear shaft, kickstart shaft, has pissed me off. You can see I've had to grind the hell out of this thing. I did just try using a file at first, but I was getting nowhere. That washer goes on there as well. Basically, I was putting the clutch cover on, and then once I tighten it down, and come on. Once I tighten it down and then put on the Kickstarter, it would kick back, but it wouldn't retract. So this clutch cover was squeezing it too much. Once the kick bolts were tight. So anyways, I had to use the grinder, and I got a damn crazy mess here, but I'm gonna get this thing back in the bike, and then we'll see if it runs. All right, let's see here. I think I came out this way. That's my finger. Looking pretty rough in here. Look at this air filter. Let's see if we can get it out without completely disintegrating it. Oh. Nice. Looks like we're missing some screws here, but oh well. Actually, yeah. But we'll probably just run it with the carburetor only first. Let's see. This is the new carburetor I bought. It's Chinese special. And as with any Chinese special, you should go through it before you throw it on. I did have to reset the float height on this. Sometimes you can get lucky and just put the old slide in. Beautiful. That way I didn't have to screw with any of that because their cable, if you look right there, our cable is looking rough. Make sure it goes up and down. Uh-oh, why is it? Maybe it's our cable was the issue. Come on, baby, come on! There we go. Whew, that looks like it was tight. Shove our overflow hoses through here. Usually I don't even really screw with the overflow hoses, but I felt compelled on this machine to do a better job. I zip tied them and made them all look pretty. All right, let's see if we can throw the exhaust on. So before we fill it up with oil, we need to hook up the clutch cable here, which we might need a new one here. All right, it does say 650 milliliters, but an easier thing to do is just take this bolt out right here. Really needs a new crush washer. And actually it's funny, it says Kickstarter in here too. But anyways, we fill it up till it starts seeping out that hole. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. Uh-oh. Too much at once there. Another jug here. Oh, there it comes. Right there, we got oil going everywhere today. So we'll just put that little set screw, or not set screw, that little fill screw back in. All right, so we are on our way to getting this thing fired up. I think it's gonna run too. All right now is the big moment for the DS80. I got this stupid thing all hooked back up. We're in neutral. I got some 2-stroke gas in here. Let's see. Hopefully we're not overflowing, which I've already checked that, so we should not overflow out of any of these. What else? I got the wiring hooked up. They had some cut wires here. There's ground right here. And then there was a ground that was broken on the back of the light bulb there. So hopefully this thing will have a front headlight and rear tail light right off the get-go here. Just make sure this thing is fully immersed in fuel. What we can do, that's stupid. Let's see here. Let's see if we can crack the drain, make sure we got fuel. Yep, in the, look at that. Oh yeah, we'll let that come out a little bit. Yep. Oh yeah, she's flowing. All right, so we know we have fuel going into the carburetor. Now I have not checked spark since, you know, since this whole situation here. So let's see if we can get her to crank up. See if we can get a good angle here. All right, comment down below how many kicks you think it's going to take to get this thing to start, if it is going to start. Got the choke on. Say a prayer. Let's disconnect the kill switch just in case. That could be an issue. Which I don't think it is, because we did have it crank up before. Huh. I'm about to be so mad. Why does it seem like there's no compression now? We had it crank over that one time with the go-go juice. No. This thing was promising. What has happened to this thing? All right, let's do a little of this. All right, let's see what happens now. Aha! There's life! Look at that! It runs! Look at the headlight go! Yeah! Huh. Let's see if we can get a flathead. Whew. I probably need to take this thing outside. Need to get the idle cranked up. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Smoky. Move, Steve. All right, let's see what happens here. Lots of oil in the crankcase. I sprayed lots of that go-go juice in there. Sprayed what's it called? Fluid film. Oh, that's good. Helps if I turn the choke off. There we go. The choke was on the whole damn time. No wonder it wasn't sound with it. Damn, brother. Oh, come on. So another thing is, since we're not running the oil pump right now, we need to make sure we cap this guy off. That's going to create a vacuum leak. So that's a little cap. Now, it doesn't help that gravitron is not cooperating, because this really needs to be up higher. So let's see if we can get this thing to run a little bit better. We might have to change the plug. At least it is revving out now. Problem is it's revving erratically. Now I don't even start it. Maybe we need to do this. Okay, I've been screwing this thing for a little bit here, quite a while with Mr. Steve. And of course we don't have a front sprocket yet. And we're definitely gonna need a front sprocket seal, that shaft seal, and probably gonna need that new collar. But it seems to be running pretty good. It's hard to tell, you know, without you know, running it. I have been trying to tune this carburetor, and I had it pretty good, and then I lost where I was at. I think it was about right there. Oh, no. Great. Anyways, it seems to run fine, but when I spray brake cleaner anywhere near here or on the engine, it shuts off, which would tell me there's a vacuum leak, but typically that would mean it's gonna rev up and not just right. So I'm not sure if it's a temperature change with it cooling it off, if it has anything to do with that. I'm not sure. Also threw the air filter and air box on to help with that. I find it really hard to believe that I have a vacuum leak on the base gasket, just because these are really tight. The surfaces were very clean, and it's a brand new gasket. And you know, it's a lot of clamping power on there, so I find that very hard to believe that around that base gasket it's leaking. It also does it right around here, which I did not take this boot off, but that could be leaking. But I think it's more of a temperature thing causing that issue, and hopefully this is all coming through the mic when I'm running the engine. So anyways, I guess we're waiting on the front sprocket, which should be here tomorrow, and you guys won't have to wait, but I do. All right, so this is the first ride of the DS80, and I went ahead and put the chain back on. The front sprocket came in today. We were also missing a O-ring behind that countershaft spacer. We're not going to hook up the oil injection because they already had previously pre-mixed in here, so I assume it was bad. I did put fresh fuel in it, and I already have warmed it up. So let's see. Now we only do have front brakes, and they're not the best. Alright, I look like a complete jackwagon right now. Oh, and I aired up the tires. Amazon. I did go with a larger front sprocket, a 14 instead of 12. So that's going to make it less bottom end, but come on, baby. Woo! There's the gear. Woo! first gear. Let's go from a complete stop. That's wide open. Well, this thing absolutely has no bottom end. I wonder if it has to do with the sprocket. Huh. I don't know if I should even bother with the 12-tooth front sprocket. Huh. Alright, well, it runs. I guess I shouldn't expect a damn powerhouse out of this thing. I wonder if they put a different rear sprocket on it too. Let's go one more time. Brother, she can do a wheelie. Damn, it's a wheelie machine. Hey, it does do wheelies somehow. This thing's a wheelie freaking monster, bro. I suck at wheelies. I guess I also should take into consideration I'm a 200-pound grown-ass man. You know, that'll do it too, right? Hey, it's idling good. She's idling like a freaking, I don't know what idles. Let's see if it starts right up. That's the true testament if we did it right, if it starts right up. Look at that. I love it. I love it. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for the DS80 here. It's a super cool bike. Yeah, it's a little sentimental to me because growing up. I didn't have this bike, but I had a JR80, which is the same thing but different plastics in tank. Of course, when I was a kid, I remember it being a little bit faster, right? I was going to do another test ride video because I just got this 12.2 sprocket in. And if you can hear the spigot right here, it's been raining. So no video of the new sprocket on there. It should make it start easier, or get going, letting the clutch out. Like, you really have to give it gas to not stall it out right now. So I put a 14.2 sprocket on there. So anyways, I'll throw that on. Probably won't do another video on this thing, and I'm trying to sell it. I don't know, maybe it pops up. I'm even trying to work a trade on a Honda 300EX right now. It's pretty rough 300EX, but let's see. It's pretty rough, but this is it. So I don't know. Maybe we trade them, maybe we don't. Which is funny because I have a 300EX I'm selling tomorrow. But I love 300EXs. So, all right. If you made it to the end of the video here, I appreciate it. We got the DS80 all fixed up. And if you're new here, because the video where I introduced the DS80, that video has done very well. So yeah, if you're new here, I fix up machines, anything really, any four-wheeler, dirt bike, ATV, sport quad, China. I don't really do much China. I like China. I like China parts. I'm cheap ass. Got my YZ450 here. I'm doing a full rebuild on this. I just picked up this PW80 the other day for 200 bucks. It's supposed to run, but it was out of gas, and I got there, and I don't know, 200 bucks. I don't really care that much. It's my 400EX. This runs, but I got it running and then took it around the neighborhood, and then it ran fine, and then I took it out on the trail and found out there's no fourth gear, so we need to replace that. So yeah, we got engine parts coming for the CF Moto video coming out on the CF Moto probably next weekend. If you're one of my regular viewers, you'll know that I upload on every Sunday. Now, I am going to try and start doing 2 videos a week. Probably be, my regular Sunday video, about an hour long, and then some point in the week, I don't think there's going to be a specific day, just however the punches roll, probably do like a 15 to 30 minute video of what, something super specific of what I'm working on. Like this week I uploaded a video fixing plastics, which I need to fix these. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching, and be sure to subscribe so you can see this monstrosity get rebuilt.
Snagging a Suzuki 98 DS, 99 bucks, thought it scored the best. Rings were toast, so I swapped them out. Drill got a burn, but the kicks in.